Hi there, it's real estate coach Josh Fegan, and welcome to the next video in our series. The reality of it is that majority of us don't succeed because we don't have clarity of the goal. And when we first start out, what we don't really think about is that there are two things, and one thing's called potential, and the other one is called capacity. You see, potential is all about ambition, what it is that you want to go and do, how you're actually going to go and achieve that, what are the types of things that you actually see as being success for you in your life. Whereas capacity is all about our ability to be able to do more with less, to be able to do more in the time that we've got, with the resources that we've actually got available to us. And what we need to do is we need to find this delicate balance between how do we actually fuel our potential, how do we actually get more ambitious, because the more ambitious that we are, the younger that we are. And then how do we actually go and build more of our capacity so we can actually get out there to go and achieve more of our potential. What happens with a lot of people is that they're in a position that they don't really get clarity about what their success point looks like. And so they'll never know when they've actually achieved it. What it leads to is to understand that in order to be able to achieve your potential, you can't do it on your own. And no one ever achieves anything significant by just thinking they're going to be themselves, just doing it without a team. And if you don't have a dream, you won't build a team. And so many people don't even think about that like the best businesses in the world, they've got hundreds, if not thousands of people sitting in the background, making great things happen for those consumer experiences. And those consumer experiences are now what we're all judged on. And when we're a real estate agent, when we go to sell our house, people expect to be able to press a button on an app and a real estate agent turns up. And they expect to be able to press a button and a buyer turns up. Then they expect to be able to press a button and help the buyer and the seller to actually come to some agreement in relation to price, and it just all occur. But unfortunately, life's not like that. What it's actually about is you getting really clear that what does success look like for you, and how will you know when you've achieved it? Is success about earning more income? Is it about having more holidays? Is it about spending more time with your family? Is it about building a great business? Is it about having a much more meaningful life? Now, you can say more holidays, you can say earn more income, but what happens if by saying those things, you actually put yourself into a constant state of anxiety? You see, the problem with it is if there's no measurement, you'll never know when you've actually achieved it. And anxiety really comes, and the reason why people feel so uneasy about their level of success is that they're always looking after this ideal, this future outcome. Things will be better when I get to here. But yet the problem is that they don't have any real clarity about what that future outcome looks like. And if you want to naturally be happy and you want to be naturally more successful, rather than looking into the future about where you want to go, look how far you've come from where you started. And then always know that every day is about grinding out, that you're finding new ways to actually achieve more of your potential and to actually get more capacity because you're building a team and you're scaling your service. And what actually starts to happen is that you realize that in order to hit real levels of success, you actually want sustainability. You want to love what you do. People can tell if you love what you do, but most importantly, you want to be in a position that you can actually teach what you do to others so that then they can be doing those things whilst you're on holiday. You see, the worst thing is that sometimes we think that we've got a real estate career. In fact, we've got a job. But even worse than that, we've got a job where we're in a position that if we go on holidays, our entire business can collapse if we don't have the right people around us and we don't have the right systems. And all of a sudden, we're held ransom to having to be in the office all the time. We're about feeling guilty that we go to list a property, but then what happens if we're going on holidays? Do we tell the vendor or not? And at what point do we tell them? And what happens if our holidays is a week after their auction? Do we tell them before the auction or do we tell them after? And how do we break the news? And what are they going to feel like? And the problem is that our entire framework has been designed specifically around us having to do the work. Whereas the best people in the business are able to really talk about not just the importance of a team, but they actually employ people in their teams that are seen by the consumer as not being the junior, but as being an equal to the agent that they've employed. And that's when things start to open up. This leads us to starting to think about how do we scale our service? Because selling 5 houses is not like selling 30 houses, and it's certainly not like selling 200 houses a year. And the challenge is that when we're doing small numbers, we're really involved in everything. You know, we're out there at the photo shoot, we're there writing the copy, we even probably turn up when they go to erect the signboard because we're just so excited about it. But when all of a sudden you get to 30, 40, 50, 60 transactions in a year, you realize that you need specialists to go and do all of those things so that you can concentrate on what truly makes you great. And this is an important part of being a great agent because you want to really learn to specialize because the specialists are the ones that get paid a lot. And they don't just get paid a little bit more, they get paid a lot more because they really understand what value they bring to the table. So what is the job that we get done for the customer? Some people think the job that we get done for the customer is we just list a house, put it on the major real estate websites, turn up to an open house, maybe have an auction, and let's see what happens. Well, that's actually not the job that we get done. You see, the job that we get done is that sometimes for the buyer, we find them the house that they should move to. And that by buying that home, that then allows them to sell their existing, and that progresses them down our pipeline so much faster. Sometimes the job we get done is we help them to make really tough decisions. Sometimes it's about getting the property prepared, getting the maintenance done, getting it presented correctly, getting walls painted, getting carpets looked after, being in a position that we're actually even getting the gardens looked after. And we're like, is that really our job? Well, yes, it is. That's the job that we get done because we are all about maximizing the sale price. Sometimes the job that we get done is also to helping them to navigate dysfunctional relationships, whether or not it be deceased estates, right the way through to divorces. Sometimes there's tragedies that we come across and people are really clouded about being able to make great decisions. Yet what a really good real estate agent does is that not only do they care, but most importantly, they understand exactly where the client is at and what the client needs to do in a very clear forward-stepping motion to actually get to where they want to go. And that's the important thing because we understand that people are dissatisfied, they have a vision on where they want to go, and then what we need to do is to help them make more of the first steps to actually achieve that vision. And what a great agent does is they realize that that's actually what success looks like. Success is about having a meaningful career where you love what you do, but most importantly, you love it so much because you help people to achieve things that they didn't even think was possible in their own lives. And sometimes it's about retailing an asset, sometimes it's just about moving on, and that you release that because whatever that sale is to them, it means something so much more beyond the sale. What does it actually represent? So how do you take the stress away? Because you've got to take the stress off the client, but most importantly, you have to take the stress off you too. Because no one wants to deal with a stressed real estate agent. There's nothing worse than having a stressed real estate agent. And what I realized really quickly is that you want to start to think about how you build a great business, and that's through fitness systems and people. What are the areas where we need fitness? Mental fitness, emotional fitness, physical fitness, financial fitness, negotiation fitness, listing, prospecting fitness, you name it. All of these things are really important because if we actually know what we're doing and why they work, then it actually allows us to stop doing things as well. That then builds into systems. You see, the reason that you have a form is you capture all the right information in the right order and you don't miss anything. The reason, for example, that you have a checklist is that you make sure that everything gets done in the right order to lead to the outcome. The reason that you have a visual is that that one visual communicates 1,000 words. And if we think about that, we then go to a dialogue because the dialogue actually gets a result. Because we know that a great agent concentrates on the last 10% of the call because that's actually where the appointment gets booked. And that's what you need to do. You need to start thinking in fitness systems and people. And then what you do is you start to design something. You say, you know what, I've got a goal. And what I'm going to do to achieve that goal is I'm going to go and put a system in place. Because the only reason that a goal isn't achieved is because you don't have a system for it. Now, when I'm thinking about that system, it is going to produce a result. And that result is going to give us some feedback back to the goal. Are we closer to achieving it or are we further away? Then we start thinking, well, hang on a second. The systems need to be designed. Then we need people to actually run them. So if you think about it, we've got the goal, leads to the system, leads to the result. Underneath that, we've then specifically got the design of it and the people that are going to run those systems to actually then give us the results that we want to actually make sure that we're achieving the goal. So the person who's writing, $100,000 a year versus the person who's writing $1 million a year, or even like the best agent in the country who's writing $10 million a year, the number one thing that they focus on is about building the right systems to actually get to that outcome. And they've designed them to have the right people in the right place at the right time to lead to the right result. And that's why you don't get success, is because you don't think about it from a systems perspective. And even worse than that, you don't go and put people involved to actually run those systems that are going to lead to the success point that you can achieve as an agent. So whatever your pursuit is, we're going to help you to achieve it. And in our next video, we're going to talk specifically about what is your why, what is the fundamental driver of the motivation and the ambition that actually allows you to get out there to actually achieve your potential.